Hello and welcome students. Today we are going to start a new chapter from Geography, class 7. So let's begin with. We used to visit many places in terms of business or in terms of a picnic or maybe for going outside. Okay, so we sometimes visited cold places, we sometimes visited hot places. So regarding that, like for example, if you are going to Ladakh will be termed as a cold place. In the same way, if you visit Rajasthan, it is a hot place. Okay, so when somebody says that desert, that is a hot area, and when Ladakh, if you compare Ladakh, then Ladakh is a cold area, then something will surely come into your mind why that is a hotter area and why another is a colder area. And in another aspect, if you would see another example, today, what is the weather today outside? So today's weather is rainy. So in that way you might have some confusions. So today's weather is rainy, but somewhere that is Ladakh is a cold region, desert is a hot region. What is the question regarding it? So we will understand about this in this chapter, Elements of Weather and Climate, lesson number 5. Let's talk about the weather and climate. Okay, the differences between the weather and climate. Weather, what is weather? Weather changes. Okay, weather changes day to day, every day. Okay, every hour. That is termed as weather. The climate, the temperature. Okay, the temperature changes day to day. Sometimes you could see within a day the sun was so bright that its heat is intolerable. Okay, but after some time we could see the rain occurred. Okay, so that is weather. Whereas in terms of climate, if you see, it is an average weather condition for a long period of time. Okay, as I have given already some examples that weather, what is weather? I told that weather changes day to day and every day. So today's weather is rainy, so that is today's weather. But when you visit some places like the Ladakh, as I told, the Ladakh is a cold area, so that is there from very long time. Okay, cold place is held from very long time. So weather may be hot or may be humid or may be pleasant, but climate remains the same. If it is cold, then it will be cold. If it is hot, then it is hot. Okay, so if you go to desert, it will be always hot, but there is a difference that there are cold desert and there are hot deserts. Okay, Ladakh is a cold desert, Tibet is a cold desert. Okay, Tibetan area, whereas Sahara and the Rajasthan deserts, they were Thar deserts and all, they are hot. Okay, hot deserts. And if you go to Antarctica, Antarctica's climate is always cool. Okay, so if you go to Ladakh, the climate is always cool. If you go to Antarctica, the climate is always cool. If you go to Rajasthan, the climate is always hot, Thar deserts. So those are the difference between the weather and climate. If you would like to see some more differences between them, then you can see page number 39 of your book where differences were given. Now let's talk about diurnal and seasonal. What is diurnal and what is seasonal? So the meaning for diurnal is variation between a high temperature and the low temperature occurs during the same day. Okay, diurnal means variation between a high temperature and a low temperature occurs during the same day. whereas seasonal means variation of temperature during season. I hope you understand that high temperature, okay, and the low temperature within a day, if you say, the meaning comes daily. Diurnal means daily, okay. Within a day, sometimes high temperature you can within weather, I told you that in the morning it's very hot and in the evening it's very cool, pretty cool, or rain occurred, then that is called variation between a high temperature and a low temperature occurs during the same day or within a day, okay. Then seasonal means variation of temperature during seasons. That means summer season, so summer season is very hot, cold season is very cold, so that is seasonal. Okay, let's talk about the elements of weather and climate. The elements of weather and climate were temperature, atmospheric pressure, humidity and rainfall. Okay, those were the elements of weather and climate. Now let's see, how do heat transfer into the Earth's atmosphere? How do heat transfer into the Earth's atmosphere? We will see through some points, okay. But before we understand these things, we must have to understand what is insolation. Insolation, it is the heat energy radiated from the sun and it reaches the outer surface of the earth and heats it, okay. Sun radiates heat and reaches the earth and the earth receives the heat and becomes hotter, okay. This transfer of energy, okay, from the sun to the earth is called insolation, okay. This incoming solar radiation or solar energy is called insolation. The incoming solar energy or the solar radiation is known as insolation. Now let's talk about how does the heating took place within Earth's atmosphere by the sun rays. So there were different methods, as we have seen already. The insolation, within insolation we have seen that the solar radiations were coming and Earth is the one which is receiving the heat. But within that there were many ways through which heat is transferred into the Earth's atmosphere. Sun rays reach the Earth and Earth is heated, but afterwards Earth's atmosphere is also heated, okay. So how does it happen? Let's see. The first one is convection. Convection is the first process where we could see that heat moves through a gas or a liquid as the hotter part rises and the cooler or the heavier part descends down or sinks, okay. The cooler part, which is heated, is cooler part, it will move up, and the the hotter part will rise up and the cooler part will go down. So we were talking about gas or a liquid. If a gas or a liquid is heated, it will rise up, and if it becomes cooler, then it will come down. That is the convection. Then conduction, if we see, heat moves from areas of more heat to areas of less heat by direct contact through collision between the molecules of the two bodies. When two bodies collide with each other, then areas of more heat transfers into areas of less heat, okay. Then a radiation, it is the transfer of energy between two objects in the form of rays or waves. So transfer of energy between two objects in the form of rays or waves, okay. The next one is, it is the transfer of heat, that is advection, from one region to the other. So regarding that, one region to the other, you would easily understand by this example. For an example, when warm winds mix with cooler winds, what happens? The energy transfers from the warmer winds to the cooler winds with the process called advection. That is a good example for the transfer of heat from one region to the other. Now let's see the factors affecting temperature. Okay, these are the factors affecting temperature, that is latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, prevailing winds, ocean currents, and industrial emissions. Let's first understand the first factors which is affecting temperature, that is latitude. Latitude, here you could see the sun strikes the earth, the sun rays strikes the earth into different angles from the equator towards the poles. So you could see sun rays falls directly towards the equator. Okay, that means the area between Tropic of Capricorn to Tropic of Cancer, this area is very hot. Okay, then the area which is from towards the poles, which is towards the poles after Tropic of Capricorn and after Tropic of Cancer, you could see those areas were cooler. Okay, so I think you all know that it is all divided into three zones: the torrid zone, temperate zone, frigid zone. So three zones were there. The equatorial area is the torrid zone. Then comes the middle part, that is 23.5. Here in the middle it is known as till 66 it is known as the temperate zone, and next one is the frigid zone. Okay, so equatorial region is heated more than all other areas. What is the reason? The reason is the direct rays falls on the equatorial areas from the sun. That is it. Okay, so if you are staying nearby the nearby 0 degree to 23.5 degree, in between of that, then you will feel much hotter. Okay, much hotter climate, you will face hotter climate. But if you are just below 23.5, you will feel a cooler climate. Okay, so Africa, okay, is hotter, okay, as it is in a torrid zone. Okay, whereas Antarctica and many other areas, those who were nearby the poles, they were cooler. Then comes to latitude. Altitude is in this way. So you know that Assam is a plain area and you could see all other northeastern areas, like whether it is Arunachal, Meghalaya or Nagaland and many other areas of northeast, Sikkim and all. Okay, they are all in a high area. Okay, whereas Assam is a plain area, it is a low area. Okay, low lying areas, and these are in the mountain. These are all mountainous area, Arunachal Pradesh and all, whereas Meghalaya is in a plateau. Okay, so they are in a high area. So during a particular day, if you want to know about the heat, about the temperature, so within a day you could easily understand. Okay, so as you know, Assam is a low-lying area, so the temperature will be here more. Okay, the temperature will be more. Suppose, for example, 30 degrees Celsius is in Assam today, but if you go to hilly areas, so the temperature will come down. So how much? That is 1 degree Celsius for every 165 meters of ascent. 1 degree Celsius for every 160 meters of ascent. It is 160 meters of ascent. 160 meters of ascent. That means as much up you will go, as much temperature will come down. So for example, from Assam you are moving towards Meghalaya and you have crossed 160 meter, then the temperature will come to 29 degrees Celsius. The temperature will goes down to 29 degrees Celsius. Again, if you go up another 160 meter, then the temperature will come down to 28 degrees Celsius. That is altitude. So within the same day you could see temperature variation within the hilly areas and the plain area. The plain area will have more temperature and the hilly areas will have less temperature because of its ascent, okay, because of they were lying in a hilly area. Then distance from the sea. Distance from the sea is very easy to understand, that Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra, some parts of Karnataka, Goa, these areas were very near to oceans, okay, whereas Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Northeast, all the Northeast areas, Meghalaya, Manipur, everyone, Bihar, these were all areas which were very far away from sea or ocean. So here what happens, as Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Goa, they were very near to ocean, their temperature did not change, okay. It changed, the variation is there, but it's very little, okay. Whereas the temperature variation can be seen high at those areas which were very far away from oceans or sea, like Madhya Pradesh. Assam is a good example. During the cold season, what happens? It's very cold here, and during the summer season it's very hot here. But in the same way, if you go to Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra and all, the temperature is pretty warm even in the hot summer season or in the cold season or whatever season it is, okay. But here temperature variation is very high, okay. During summer very hot, during cold very cold, okay. That is because of the distance from the sea, because of the winds. Then comes prevailing winds. Prevailing winds are planetary winds which are caused by the formation of giant convection cells. So you can see prevailing winds, these are all planetary winds, okay, moves all over the planet. Now these winds that are caused by the formation of giant convection cell, you must understand what is convection cells over the earth. You could see sun is there, through the sun rays are coming, and the place wherever the sun rays will fall, the area will be warmer. And you could see the rain is, it is a rainy area, so this area will be cold, okay. For your kind information, those areas which were cold, they were having high pressure, and those areas which were very warm, they were having low pressure. So you may think that this place is warm, it must have high pressure, this place is cold, it must have low pressure, but it is not like that. I will make you understand with a very good example. Suppose in the cold season, not in a summer season, this is a summer season, so during cold season, when you stay inside your room, in your home, okay, it is locked from everywhere, okay. During this cold season, at night if you open up a single window, what do you feel? You will feel that cold air is trying to come inside your room or home. Okay, that means it shows that, it proves that high pressure wind is outside, and inside your room, that is, a room temperature is there, a temperature is there, it is warmer. So what happens? Warmer air or warmer areas are having low pressure, and it cannot fight the cold winds that is of high pressure. So cold winds will push back the warmer winds. Okay, so that is the prevailing winds. So these are all planetary winds, and it blows from the hot region of the earth to the colder region. Okay, so you can say that high pressure winds are this one and low pressure winds are this one. So as they are higher in pressure, they will move towards the low pressure area, and low pressure area will move towards the colder areas. They will rise up, and later on, after cooling down, they will move towards the colder areas. So like desert area, and these are polar areas. Okay, so wind always moves from polar areas towards the desert area, because desert area is having low pressure, and polar areas, as they are cooler, they were having high pressure. They used to push the low pressure winds towards the sky, and then later on, when they become cooler, they used to go to their own place where the polar winds are. Okay, and let's talk about the ocean currents. Ocean currents. Within the ocean, there were many areas which were warmer. Okay, that means warm water were there. So warm water flows. When in some areas of ocean, you could see that there were cold water flows. Okay, so within ocean you could see two areas where within one you could see warm water flows, and within some area of ocean you could see cold water flows. Okay, so wherever warm water flows, if a particular wind touches the warm water and goes towards some other area, the other area will become warmer. Okay, and if a particular wind touches the cold water and goes towards your place will become cooler. Okay, so that is the transfer of heat through the ocean currents. Ocean currents are rivers of hot or cold water that flows within the ocean itself. Within the ocean itself, it flows warmer and cooler. So if it is warmer and it is transferred into the wind, then wherever the wind will go, those places, even if it is cooler, it will make the place little bit more warmer. Okay, so when you feel cold sometimes in the cold season, and some wind comes from the warmer place, then you will surely get some warmth. Now let's talk about the industrial emissions and urbanization and deforestation, or you can say the concretization. Urbanization means concretization. This is also an important factor which is affecting the temperature, or you can say in other terms, increasing or decreasing the temperature. Most probably increasing. You could see in a town or in urban centers, there were high-rise buildings. Okay, buildings were there. These buildings absorb heat and radiate it back to the atmosphere. So you may think that how is it possible that a building absorbs heat and it radiates the heat into the atmosphere? So this is the summer season. It is a very good season to see or to observe it. Okay, during very hot season, you could see your buildings will become warmer. Even during the evening time, you can see your walls, your building walls were warmer. Okay, it does not become cool easily. This warmth transfers into the atmosphere through wind or air. Okay, you can see the heat gets trapped into the lower layers of the atmosphere and increases atmospheric temperature. Not only that, within the cities, automobile emission, that is cars, bikes, vehicles, different vehicles were there, which emits gases, very dangerous gases, harmful gases, which trap heat. Not only that, we were also very idiots, we can say, that we were cutting down trees. That is not good for our health and for the atmosphere too, for our earth too. Cutting down of trees, which is called deforestation, is increasing during this time because of the increase in population or population explosion. Okay, so I hope you like the video. Please comment for disliking the video. Thank you.